The night was electric. The world watched as the stage lights of New York's most iconic arena beamed across millions of screens. But as the red carpet shimmered with the glamour of pop culture's biggest names, there was one story, one heartbeat, that seemed to eclipse them all. His name? Bruno Mars. But what if I told you that behind the shine of two shining trophies, there lies a tale of near defeat, heartbreak, and redemption that no one saw coming? Stay with me, because once you uncover this story, you'll never look at Bruno Mars the same way again. Before we dive deeper, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with every Bruno Mars fan you know. Because tonight, we're about to unravel the mystery. But somehow, those two meant everything. The story begins months before the flashing cameras and roaring crowds. Bruno Mars, a man whose career has often felt like a fairy tale scripted by destiny itself, had been quiet, almost too quiet, after years of dominating the charts. Then suddenly, whispers. First came the collaboration with Rose of Blackpink, a song called APT, so haunting yet powerful it stunned even his most loyal fans. Then, a duet with Lady Gaga, Die with a Smile, a track so raw, so vulnerable, that listeners said it felt less like a performance and more like a confession. But here's where the story takes its first twist. For years, Bruno had been called the comeback king, the showman of our time, the artist who could blend funk, soul, pop, and R&B into something almost divine. Yet, at the 2025 VMAs, he faced an uphill battle like never before. 11 nominations. 11 dreams. 11 chances to write his name into the history books once more. The stakes. Astronomical. The pressure. Crushing. And the world. Watching every single move. When the first awards of the night slipped past him, the whispers began. Was Bruno Mars losing his magic? Had the industry moved on? Nomination after nomination went by, and with each one that didn't bear his name, the tension grew thicker, heavier. In the crowd, the cameras cut to his face, that signature smile, still radiant, still calm. But behind the eyes, a storm no one could see. And then, it happened, the announcement came for Best Song of the Year. The screen lit up with nominees, giants, legends, newcomers with viral dominance. And among them, APT by Rose featuring Bruno Mars. A song many critics claimed was too understated, too delicate, to stand against the thunder of mainstream pop anthems. The room held its breath. The envelope opened. And in that single moment, history bent. APT, Rose featuring Bruno Mars. The applause roared. Rose's eyes filled with tears. Bruno stood, his presence commanding yet humble, the kind of grace that only a seasoned legend could carry. As he took the stage, there was no arrogance, no celebration of self. Instead, he looked at Rose, then at the audience, and simply said, "Music isn't about numbers. It's about moments like this. And this one. This is forever." It was a victory, yes. But it was also a revelation. For Bruno Mars, not even close. As the categories dwindled, another awaited, Best Collaboration. The tension was palpable. And this time, it wasn't just a song. It was a story. Die with a Smile had become an anthem of bittersweet romance, a duet between two icons who bared their souls in a way few ever dared. Lady Gaga, the eternal chameleon, and Bruno Mars, the eternal romantic. Together, they created something beyond music. They created a confession etched in melody. The nominees flashed. Names of titans. Partnerships designed to dominate charts. And yet, when the envelope opened, the world stopped once more. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. This wasn't just another win. It was a message. That vulnerability still triumphs in a world obsessed with perfection. That raw emotion still resonates in an age of algorithms. And that Bruno Mars, after all these years, could still stand at the very top, not by chasing trends, but by bearing his truth. 2 awards out of 11. On paper, it could have looked like failure. But in reality, It was the story of resilience. Of artistry. Of a man who chose quality over quantity, meaning over numbers, and connection over clout, and yet, there's something no one told you. Something hidden between the flashing lights and acceptance speeches. Because behind the celebrations, insiders revealed that Bruno had nearly walked away from the VMAs entirely. Sources whispered that weeks before the event, he confided to close friends, "If I don't win a single one, maybe that's the sign it's time to step back." Imagine that. A world without Bruno Mars on stage. A silence where his music once played, but fate had other plans. Think about it. If Bruno had left that night empty-handed, would he have disappeared into the shadows of music history? Would we have seen the end of an era? Those 2 wins weren't just awards. They were lifelines. Proof that the world still wanted, still needed, Bruno Mars, and here's the twist no one saw coming. By winning only 2, Bruno actually won more than if he'd taken home all 11. Because instead of being remembered for a sweep, he became remembered for survival. For standing tall even when the odds seemed stacked against him. For reminding us that sometimes, just 2 moments are enough to change everything. Ask yourself, isn't that the story of life itself? We dream of countless victories, but often, it's the few we actually achieve that define us. For Bruno Mars, 2025 wasn't about the 11. It was about the 2. And those 2 may just be the beginning of a new chapter we never expected, because what if these wins were not an ending, but a beginning? What if they were the spark for Bruno Mars' next reinvention, the prelude of Versace on the floor? Bruno has never stayed in one box. And now, with collaborations that bridge continents, genres, and generations, he may just be preparing to shock us all again. As the cameras faded and the 2025 VMAs closed, fans across the world weren't just celebrating his wins. They were asking a question: what comes next? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that when Bruno Mars seems quiet, he's only preparing for something monumental. So, did Bruno truly win just 2 awards that night? Or did he win back something much more powerful, the narrative, the belief, the heartbeat of millions who realize that even when the world doubts you, even when the odds are 11-2, you can still rise? This isn't just a story about trophies. It's a story about resilience. About daring to stay vulnerable in a world that tells you to be perfect. About reminding the world that true artistry cannot be measured by numbers, and maybe, it's a reminder for all of us. That even if life gives you just 2 victories out of 11 battles, those 2 can still define your legacy. Bruno Mars walked into the 2025 VMAs a legend. He walked out not just as a winner, but as a survivor. And for that, the world will never forget. But maybe the most haunting part of this story is not what happened under the blinding lights of the VMA stage, but what happened after. When the cameras turned away and the world went quiet, Bruno Mars returned backstage, holding those 2 golden trophies. Witnesses say he sat down for a long moment, staring at them in silence. Not smiling. Not celebrating. Just thinking. Some claim he whispered something to himself, a line no microphone caught, a promise only he could hear: this is just the beginning. It's the kind of moment that lingers, that leaves you questioning. Were those 2 awards a consolation prize, or a prophecy? Because if history has shown us anything, Bruno Mars has always turned moments of doubt into fuel for his greatest triumphs. So now, I'll leave you with this. What do you think? Were those 2 awards a loss, or were they everything? Let us know in the comments below. And if you felt the heartbeat of Bruno Mars' story tonight, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with everyone who believes in the power of music, resilience, and redemption, because this story is only just beginning.